on Cotuit 2-0 as we head to the fourth, and Ryan Smith is back on the Princeton product in his fourth inning of work. Sam and Sam up here in the broadcast booth, but right now Sam, and Dan. We are pleased to be joined by Dan Fortier, one of our GM interns, scout liaisons, as Smith sends in a first pitch ball to Alex Volpe. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. Welcome up to the booth. Happy to have you up here. As Smith sends a strike, or never mind, a ball, just below the knees of Volpe. So Dan, we had Pete, one of your counterparts, on a couple weeks ago. But for those who might not have been listening, tell us a little bit, what are your day-to-day duties, and also what's your history like with the Kettleers? Because I know you've been around this organization longer than any of us.
Yeah, so day-to-day, usually we've been doing this software program called TrackMan, which tracks every single pitch of every single game, which is really cool. It will give us different metrics like velocity, spin rate, all of that. We also have Paige, who does Inside Edge, which is another really cool software program that it uses a manual gun, and it creates some of the coolest reports I've ever seen, and it can give them letter grades about every pitcher, every batter, everything.
Swing and a miss there from Volpe, strikeout. Now one out for Ryan Smith. Are those the blast motion pods?
Yeah, there's those two. Those track the hitters' swings and all of that. We haven't had too many use it in-game yet, but we've had people batting practice a lot of the times using it. We also videotape our pitchers, outfielders. We have 2 videos on each of our batters that I've done just to kind of go through the motion with them, have them be able to see what they're doing on the field.
So you get exit velocity of every hit.
Yep.
As Will Brennan sends a single into center. What's I don't know if you're allowed to disclose this information on air, but what, for the Kettleers or an opponent, has been the hardest hit ball at Lowell Park this season?
I'm not sure I can say it, but it was well over 100.
Yeah. That's
it
MLB stuff.
Yeah, it was Peyton Burdick, too.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
Opening day, maybe?
No, it was mid-season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Will Brennan's at first. He's on with a single to center. Austin Langworthy at the plate. One out here in the fourth as Smith fires in a first pitch ball outside. We're here with Dan Fortier, one of the GM and scout interns. So you've been around Cotuit for, I want to say, 5 years now.
Yep.
And so tell us a bit about what you did the previous 4 years before this position.
So I started bullpen catching as an 8th grader, mainly for 2 weeks that season, and then after that, my 9th, 10th, and 11th grade year, 9th and 10th grade, I continued to bullpen catch, and then last year, after my senior year of high school, I was a game day intern, and then this year, being a GM intern.
What's bullpen catching like? It's a thankless job.
It's a blast. It's so much fun. Being in 8th grade was kind of strange because you're facing middle schoolers who pitch probably 60 at the hardest, and then getting into a bullpen where we had Reagan Bizarre that year throwing 100, and Hochstetter from Stanford with probably one of the dirtiest curveballs I've ever seen.
You're catching those guys. You're catching 100-mile-an-hour rock.
Yeah.
As an 8th grader.
Yeah. It was a blast though. The guys are great. I learned all about college when I was in 8th grade, so I was prepared this past year. It was, all the players in the bullpen have always been great to me. They're always the nicest people at the park. I really never spoke to many of the position players because I was always in the bullpen, but it's a great experience.
Here's the 3-1 to Langworthy outside for ball 4. Will Brennan was off and running. It doesn't matter, because now runners are going to be on first and second with the walk. So, Dan, I know you're around the team all the time. You get to the ballpark at, 9 a.m. every day?
11. I work 5 to 9 at the lunch,
Right.
But whenever I get here.
Man, when do you sleep?
Right after the game, usually.
Yeah.
Pass out.
So what are you thinking about the team right now? Give us, what are
like
the vibes? I mean, I know that they're 7-2-1 in the last 10.
Yeah.
Feeling good going into the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. I think we have a bunch of players who actually want to be here, which is always good. And it's something that you don't always get at the end of the season with the Cape League. But I feel like our team wants to be here. I think today's going to be a pretty cool game with Smith getting the start. And I'm excited for the first playoff series, hoping that it's Hyannis. But even against Wareham, the last 2 games that we played against Wareham have really made it a lot better looking at them.
Been more competitive, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Now, do you have one guy, we were kind of talking about this earlier before the game, do you have one guy on the Kettleers that you think is going to bust out and have a big postseason, position player or pitcher?
You know, I'd love Humphreys too. I'm
Ooh.
a huge fan of Zach. He's a great guy and one of the hardest workers you'll ever find, so I think that he's going to be a very good key defensive catcher at the end of the year, and I think that he might have some clutch hits here and there.
There's a ground ball from Cameron Cannon that Oviedo flipped to second for the 6'4" fielder's choice. That'll bring us to a 2-out, runners on the corner scenario with Matt Wallner at the plate. Falmouth up 2-0. We're here with Dan Fortier. So Zach Humphreys.
Yes.
I like that. That's unique.
What about a pitcher?
Pitcher. I'd say Joey Walsh maybe. I feel like he might come in some key spots, and I think he'll get us a few innings here and there in a couple of the games, especially like I wouldn't be shocked to see him come out first game against Wareham or Hyannis, probably like mid-innings. And I
0-2 count now of Wallner.
he normally gives us some quality innings, so I think he'll shine.
I like that. Walsh has been big in the
Oh,
big
yeah.
spots.
He's
that's for
a
sure.
very clutch pitcher. And we haven't seen him in a little while.
Yeah.
As Smith comes set, 0-2 count, 2 outs, a chance to get out here. He sends one in the dirt, but blocked by Wolforth. 1-2 the count.
This Falmouth team, they're dangerous too.
Oh yeah. Kind of happy we won't draw them.
Yeah, that'd be a tough first round.
yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Smith kicks and fires, swung on, tailed back foul. Count
Now-
stays put.
Dan, you've been around the Cape League, obviously, with so many summers in Cotuit. What are some of the best things you've seen in the postseason, just as far as a run, maybe Brewster last year, I don't know, something like that, whether it be Kettleers or non-Kettleers?
Well, Brewster was very cool last year because they hadn't won in
17 years.
17, yeah, in a while. And then my first year bullpen catching, I broke my hand, but I was there in Orleans when Cotuit won. So that was probably one of my favorite memories personally, was being there, being able to go on the field after they won the championship.
More on that after the break. That's a good one.
Yeah, ground ball to the second baseman Gonzalez ends the inning. So we'll head to the bottom of the 4th, and we'll return with Dan. 2-0 Falmouth on top of Cotuit as we head to the 4th here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. 2-0 the Falmouth Commodores lead the Cotuit Kettleers as we head to the bottom of the 4th. And Pat McGowan, who's already struck out 6, including 2 in the last frame, is back on for the 4th. He'll face Michael Tolia, Rafe Chomet, and Duke Ellis. We're still here with Dan Fortier, one of the GM scout interns, as Tolia blasts one deep right field, tracking back. That one way gone. A solo shot from Michael Tolia to get things cooking here in the 4th. What a mammoth shot by Michael Tolia. Home run number 7 on the season. And we're with Dan Fortier, who tracks the exit velocity. I know you don't have the TrackMan in front of you, but let's see an estimate on that.
Probably low 100s, maybe high 90s. I just want to know if it's landed.
It was
yet.
towering, right?
Yeah.
If it was a line shot, we'd have a quicker velocity.
Yeah. But
Wow.
That was hit far.
Now Rafe Chomet, swing and a miss there for the 0-1. And Dan, something we've been talking about is all these new guys. We got 3 in the lineup today: Nick Gonzalez, Trey Jacobs, and this guy Chomet.
Yeah.
What do you know, if anything, about these guys?
Well, Chomet was an all-star in the NECBL, and he goes to Trinity, so he's did pretty well down in, I believe he was New Bedford.
He just flew out to center
Yeah.
there. And I know we got and Mike Young, one of our
Mike
new
Young,
pitchers.
so
He plays in your conference.
Yes, he does. I believe he faced St. Mike's once this year. Probably wasn't the highlight of his year because St. Mike's isn't the greatest, but he is a very good pitcher from what I've heard.
Bunt foul from Duke Ellis, 0-1 count with 1 out. So before the break, you were talking about how you were in Orleans in 2013 when the Kettleers won their last championship. What's the celebration like? Just take us through play-by-play, what happens when you win it all.
So I was sitting right behind the bullpen, and first thing that I saw was all the pitchers running down to the field. They were they weren't on the mound, but they were like to the left side of the infield near the mound, dogpiling. There's definitely a Gatorade shower or some sort of liquid that was thrown on Roberts, which was really cool. It was probably the happiest I've seen Coach Roberts in the years that I've come here. And it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever seen. We had a lot of the pitchers that year were very good, and so it was something that they were all hoping for. I know right when they got the wheels starting in the playoffs, they all wanted that ring, so they were all chasing it. So it was cool to see it come to an end.
Did you get a ring?
I did not. I
Oh,
only
man.
bullpen caught for like a week or two that year, so
Right.
I was at the bottom of the list for those.
Ground ball by Trey Jacobs up the middle and through for a base hit. Trey Jacobs with his first base hit as a Kettleer. And with 2 outs after a Duke Ellis pop out, now a runner aboard for Cotuit, down 2-1 here in the 4th. So that championship, and that was in the jungle, right?
Yes.
At Eldridge Park.
Yes,
and
it
how
was.
did that feel to win, not at home, but kind of steal it on the road as the villains?
It felt good. It felt
Yeah.
good. Orleans was a very tough team that year. Like, they've been very tough every single year, so it felt good getting that game there.
High fly ball from Oviedo, center field. Langworthy makes the catch for out number 3. That'll end the inning, but a home run from Michael Tolia makes it a 2-1 ball game, and we figure Tolia's got to lead this team down the stretch, a returner. We know
Definitely.
Coach Roberts like those returners.
Definitely. I think him and Shock will be playing a big role in the coming week.
We'll keep an eye on it. Dan, thank you so much. One of the hardest workers on the Kettleer staff, Dan Fortier, one of our GM interns and scout liaisons. Now go. You got to get back to work. I see Deacon Meadors coming out for the 5th inning, and we'll take a break with the Kettleers now down 2-1 here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.